What's up, guys? Cameron here from Full Access UTV, and today we have the long-awaited fan kit upgrade video. So the fan kit I have behind me will come with this aluminum shroud, this upgraded fan. You'll get some O-rings and a thermal fuse to replace. So right here in front of us, we have a 4-seat KRX, and the stock KRXs come with about a 600 CFM fan, and our fan is upgraded to about 1300 CFM, so you're getting about double because you really do need it. And today what you're going to need is basically a 10 millimeter socket, a 12 millimeter socket, some push pin pliers, which you get on our site, and you're basically going to take a whole bunch of this apart. So what we did to start was we took this plastic piece off right here just to get going, but I'll show you kind of what you're looking at. So right here we have a 2025. You've seen it in our previous 2025 video. And what you want to get is these plastic pieces out right here. They do connect to the bottom side of the radiator underneath here, and they are covering these sway bar bolts that you're going to want to undo to move this sway bar. And most importantly, you're looking at these bolts right here. You're looking at these 10 millimeter heads right here, and you're going to want to undo this bar. There is a way you can do it out the side, but going through the top is just so much easier. So right here is kind of what you'll start with on the base. So you want 2 up here. So there's 4 total up here, and there's 4 total at the bottom. These 4 will hold the plastic piece in, and these 4 hold the fan and what you'll replace with the fan shroud. So underneath, we'll show you kind of what you're looking at for these bolts underneath. So right underneath the sway bar, you're looking at these 4 bolts right here. You're going to want to get these 2 out so you can remove these plastic pieces. It makes it much easier. So we've already done that, but in order to get to it, you want to remove a couple of these push pins right here. So you got these ones right here. You obviously undo this one at the bottom. You have some inside right here and right up here on both sides, and that'll help you get this plastic piece out. Now, you definitely want to take out the sway bar, and you can drill some holes right here for quick access for a ratchet, but we don't have that right now. So one of the ways you can remove these first front ones, no problem. And what I found was when we did it, when you take out this piece, this push pin right here, you can actually kind of bend this up after you take that out, and you can get a wrench underneath and undo that back sway bar. So this is kind of what you'll be looking at once you have that sway bar out. So you had the 2 bolts, the brackets on top of it. Once you take it out, you're able to just move this up, put a little crowbar or anything just to pry it open so you can get underneath right here. We already have it out, the plastic pieces. It's that one and that one on the inside. Same with the 2 up here at the top. And these bolts come out with a sleeve, and they each have a little clip. So don't worry about those. Just make sure you have them. There are 4, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And we'll get started right here. Now, if you have before 25, which doesn't need the fan upgrade anyways, this brake fluid reservoir is attached to this bar, so you will need the 10 millimeter to remove it. So we'll go ahead and remove that first. And then these 2 are also 10 millimeters as well, as are the 2 on the bottom. And then we'll move over to the 12 millimeter, which will help release this bar. Now it is tight in there, and there is a washer on it, so make sure you don't lose those. And we'll go back to the 10 millimeter to get these. And as you can see here, it is pretty tight. The only way to really get in there is underneath the sway bar. You'll need to move the sway bar to get these ones, to get the plastic out as well. But we got these 2 down here. So now you got this fan shroud free from those bolts. You know, each one of these is going to come with a spacer. So you want to remove all 4 spacers. I'll set them off to the side. We will need them again. You can get your hand underneath this sway bar, grab both of the spacers underneath. I'll do it with my right hand here. All right. So next, you see right now, we kind of have some flexibility right here. And the radiator's free, and we're going to work on getting the fan out. So you want to remove this bar. Sometimes, as you'll see over here, there are going to be some things that are zip tied on. Just take them off. We're going to put them back on later. We'll set this bar off to the side. So next, the fan shroud and the radiator have these grommets in it, and you just got to push them through. You know, you can also use some type of screwdriver. You don't want it too sharp. You don't want to puncture these. These are just to help you kind of push this through, because you will be reusing these and you'll be adding on some of the O-rings with it. So there'll be 4 of these, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. You'll keep them with those spacers. You don't want to lose those. Now you got 2 more on the bottom. Try and do it from the side so you guys can see. You know, the radiator is free from its bolts now, so you can kind of move it around a little bit. And it is a tight area. It's a little easier for me to pull on them from that side rather than push them through. But we could try and push it through just to see the other way. All right. So now the fan is free, and this stock fan is a little bigger, so it's a little harder to take out. But before you do it, you do want to make sure you come underneath here. Let me get a light. That's a little difficult to see. You just got the fan plug right here. You'll just pull on this clip right here at the top and disconnect the electrical. Okay, so once you have that unclipped, the electrical is done. The next step, there's this vent tube, just runs up into the cab. This factory one is an unsealed unit, so you just pull that out. It comes up from under there. The new one is sealed, so you won't need it. So now, if you come over here, so the factory radiator and fan sit up right in front of these, and you want to make some room so you can shimmy this out. So the easiest way we found was there's a little more slack on the right, so you want to bring the radiator up and over that bottom portion, and then bring this right side up. You're going to get some more room right here, and now you have the ability to pull this fan out. You will need to kind of push this brake fluid reservoir down. You're going to be able to kind of just spin this out the side. Now, normally you may not have as many wires as this KRX right here, and it just comes free. So now you got the fan free, and you're set to start putting in the new fan shroud with fan. So as you can kind of tell, is already a much more lower profile. It is a sealed unit. These are an IP68, so they're pretty waterproof and everything that you'll need. Okay, so now that you have the fan out, the next step is you want to put these grommets back in. You'll have this spacer as well that we first took off, and you'll have an O-ring that we give you. And so we already have one in just to show you what it looks like right here. So you put the grommet in the radiator, and then you'll have the O-ring right behind it, keeps that grommet in there snug, and then you will have this spacer right back in. So when you attach it, the fan shroud will go here. It'll keep it just enough away for it, but not too much. So all the airflow is coming through the fan. So we'll go ahead and put these grommets back in. Remember, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And then next, you want this O-ring behind. Just kind of rubber on rubber. You just kind of place it over. It'll fit snug. Just roll it basically. There you go. You got the 2 on there. Put the spacer back in. Let's realign this radiator. Remember, it goes in front of those mounts down there at the bottom. So there we go. Grommet spacer. Gonna go under this sway bar. All right, now we'll get the O-ring on behind it. Same thing for our last one. We can't forget that spacer on that last one. Okay, so we got our last grommet here. We're going to show you another way to do it through the side, and you can come over the top of the radiator. If it's a little easier for both of these bottom ones, you can do it. So you just want to pull this radiator out so you can get your arm behind it. And you'll find right here where the grommet goes. You just push that through. See, now you got it here. We'll get the last O-ring. Feed it on down there. Now, you want to put a little pressure with your thumb on this front side. You can hold this other side with your other finger on the bottom. And then you'll just want to roll that O-ring over this grommet as well. And there you go. Now you got all 4 grommets on with the O-rings. And don't forget, you want all these spacers. So you put these bottom 2 ones on. And, you know, I mentioned the sway bar. You can also just take it out if it's much easier. You know, we're just going to put it back, so we just kind of moved it out of the way. So now you got all 4 of your grommets in. You can line this radiator back up in front of these holes where it's going to attach again. And now we'll grab our fan shroud, fan kit. Now you want this electrical cord towards the passenger side. That's where the connection point is. You want to slide this back in. Now this fan is lower profile, so it'll slide in much easier than getting that factory one out. All right, just move that brake fluid reservoir. We got this fan shroud in place. Stuck on that grommet. There we go. You got to slide it a little to the side to get over that other intercooler tube. And then you line it up. So now you'll have, right here, you'll see these grommets line up with the fan shroud. So we're going to put our bolts back in. And it was these 4 that we took off. So back to these M10s. And see, they'll just fit right in. And one's on the bottom and the ones on the top, they're going to fit back to this bar. So, all right, guys, sorry about that. The mic died, so we had to charge it. All right, so now we're going to put everything back together. You need this bar. But first, we want to talk about, you want to make sure this radiator is in place. Yeah, Tommy, get underneath there. Show them. So you want to make sure right here, the radiator and the shroud are in front of the mounting pieces on both sides. You just kind of line it up. We'll get this bar in and get the top part. Just hand tighten down, make sure we get everything in place. Need to slide this in one side, get it under this plastic panels. All right. Now you got the 2 bigger bolts that are holding these side pieces in. Once we get them into place, we're just going to hand tighten them down. As you can see, my left hand is not my good hand. All right, there we go. And we got those tightened just a little bit. I'll come back. It's easier, we found, just to line up these top ones first. Get a little hand thread going. You may need to prop it up, hold it into place. See, we got that one in. So the top one. Get the bottom ones underneath this sway bar. And your sway bar may not have extra cords. Found out that's why this one was not going up as high. So it's a lot easier once it's out of the way to get through. Let's hand tighten. Hand tighten this next one. Come over here. Tighten those down. Last piece. This other bolt onto the brake fluid reservoir. Tighten that in. And then once everything's pretty lined up, you'll torque it all down just like normal, and then you'll put your plastics in, and then you're good to go. All right, guys. So now that you've tightened everything down, you want to make sure, if you moved any wires out of the way, if you have all these accessories, you'll zip tie them back into their place on this bar. You know, if you have no accessories or something stock, it may look as simple as this on this one. And then the last final piece, you want to reattach the electrical. Just plugs right back in, easy enough. And then as you move to the plastics, you want to reattach the sway bar, just push back down into place. The brackets go over it, and you push it down, tighten it down, and then you'll be able to put in your plastics. A couple of push pins right here, right here. You know, it'll end up looking like this. Got the push pins up here, you got this one upside down, and then you got the ones on the side. You'll be able to put your grill in, your hood back on, and then the final step we'll show you is you'll have to replace the fuse. All right, guys, we're in the back of the four-seater. I just want to pull this top of the seat off. Here's the box right here. We'll take 4 of these off, take the panel off. You'll be looking for this box right here. 2 clips on each side. We'll take it off, and you'll be looking for this fuse right here. It's right above the fuel pump relay. Get some needle nose pliers. We'll take it out. We'll just put this new one on. Put it right back into place. We'll close it back up. Just like everything, you're good to go. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We got a lot more content coming, so stay tuned for more. Thanks, everybody.